What's up, fellow YouTubers? In this video, I'm going to condense my previous video into 3 ways you can tell if an off-white belt is fake or real. So number 1 is going to be the letters. So that is the letter of shapes as well as the letter spacing. Number 2 will be the red stitching, as you can see here. And then finally, number 3, it's a bit harder, but you can still tell, and that is from the color of the actual belt. So for the real pictures, we're going to use a mix of the actual belt on the Off-White website, and for the fakes, we're going to find them on Grail. And I need to mention that some people think that Grailed is the holy grail and that it doesn't carry any fakes, but let me tell you otherwise, because we are about to find some fakes on Grailed. So let's dig right in. So this is the picture that we got from the Off-White website. So if you go and get a ruler or get a line, a straight edge as they call it in America, and you put it parallel to where the letters are, you should see that the letters are in a straight line. And while we're on this picture, let's zoom right in. And if we take this line away, so if we use this little white circle as a measurement tool, you can see that the space between the letters are about the same, a little bit different from letter to letter. So you just go through all the way, and you need to really look out for the G. See, basically all the same. So that's it for the letters. The letters need to be aligned as well as having equal spacing. And if we go to Grailed and we look for a fake, I saw one earlier. This one is a perfect example of a fake on Grailed. And if you guys don't believe me, just scroll down and look at the comments. Like, I'm not the only one that thinks this is fake. So if we go to a better picture, such as this one, and zoom right in, we can say that this belt is pretty straight on the bed, right? I mean, there might be some folds and stuff, but for the most part, it's pretty straight, but the letters are all over the place. See how this H is floating in comparison to the T? And the G, this E, again, is all the way down here compared to the S all the way up here. And then remember the second part of the lettering, they need to have equal spacing or very close to equal spacing. This T is very close to touching the H, whereas the H is nowhere near to the G. And then you're going to see this G, from securing, this G is not very secure to the word. Because you can see here that my magnifying glass can easily fit in that space. That G is nowhere near the N, whereas up here, you can just fit the circle of the magnifying glass. Or this R to the I. So the spacing is very inconsistent. So that's the number 1 telltale of a fake. So moving on to number 2, the red stitching. So what you need to notice from this red stitching is, well, you can see the red stitching. There are 2 distinct parallel lines of the red stitching, and you need to notice the width of the red stitching. So in the real one, they're very, very similar. They may not be exactly the same, but it's very hard to tell if they are. Then you go to a fake, and you can see the red stitching very clearly on the black. Very clearly. Whereas on the white, or on the yellow I should say, it's a lot harder to tell because it's very, very thin. So in essence, it's thicker on the black, thinner on the yellow. And the third way you can tell if the belt is fake or not is the color. So in the real one, you can see that the yellow is very vibrant, it's bright, but it's more like a matte finish rather than a very shiny finish. And the blacks stand out. If you go to the fake, you can see that the yellow here, it's very shiny. It's not meant to be very shiny. And then the black, it's not very noticeable in this fake. But if we go to a real one, you'll notice how the black pops out. I can't really explain it, but when you see a real one, the black just stands out, such as this one. So you can notice straight away that the black is just there. It's very noticeable compared to the fake. And the color, or the yellow color, in this case it's more matte than it is shiny. And we can tell that this one is real. And we know that this one is real if we go back to our 3 fundamental ways of telling if it's a fake or real. So number 1 was the letter. So it's pretty straight. All the letters are pretty much in line with each other. But I forgot to mention, so I'll just mention it now, that the G's, and any letter that has a tail, it is slightly above the other ones, where it's meant to sit on the line, and then the curve is obviously below it. And then if you look at the spacing, the G is not in space. It's right next to the N, and it's very equal. It's very consistent. Number 2 is the red stitching. So you can see the red stitching on the black equally as well as you can see it on the yellow. And then number 3, we talked about this, and it's the color. So the blacks show as, and number 3 is the color. And we already mentioned this before. It needs to be very contrasted, but at the same time, it needs to be more matte. And that's it, guys. Very quick. And that is how you tell if an off-white belt is fake or real. Comment down below what item you'd like to see legit checked next. Thank you for watching.